Good evening, Vancouver. Welcome back to Canucks After Dark. It is Monday, October 13th. It is Thanksgiving, and we're really hoping 3 games into the season, our first show after a couple of actual Canucks hockey games that weren't preseason, that we'd actually have a good idea of maybe what this team might look like under new coaching. Maybe we were hoping for a little something better. But we're here regardless. We made it to today. Clay survived 24 hours. And as always, he's here with me. How are you feeling today?
Happy Thanksgiving, Parker. I know we were rooting for you this morning, but I did mention that you had family commitments, which was all good. My daughter, Kayla, filled in. She's not as smart as Parker's Pucks, but she did just fine. But thank you. And thank you for asking. I feel fine. I had a good nap after the game. I probably could have slept during the game, and I actually slept a tiny bit afterwards. So I actually feel good. Going to do the show. Looking forward to being with you and talking about a game that we probably should have won, which we did. A game that we probably should have lost, which we did. And then today was probably the most disappointing of the 3, just because there's no reason to be as bad as we were. But I know we're going to talk about that for sure.
Yeah. It was even one of those ones where I didn't even watch this one on time because I was like, it's on Prime. I can just hit start from the beginning. And I'll start it like an hour late after the baseball, and then I'll just be able to skip the first intermission. Was my plan. Skip commercials, skip the first intermission, and keep up with it. And it was not the prettiest game I've seen them play, nor was the other night, Saturday night. That was also a pretty ugly game. But it was one of those ones where after the first game, which I guess was that Thursday, they looked maybe a little slow to start, but it was a fine game. They ran over Calgary in the third period. That was great. And then they came out flat against Edmonton. And after that, I'm sort of thinking to myself, and I'm not sure what your sort of vibe was. Obviously, you had a full day to talk about those 2 games, sort of. But my sort of vibe was, okay, well, they lost to one of the best teams in the league in Edmonton, and Edmonton's just fast and good and a problem. But they could have done something in that game, right? They could have gotten something out of that. And then against Calgary, they won, and they won 5-1, and it looked good, but they came alive in the third period against a team that was somehow on the second night of a back-to-back where they put their starting goalie in for both games, and he looked like he just was gassed. Right. Yeah. So I'm sort of coming into this game like, okay, here's sort of like more of a fair litmus test, right? This is a team that was the second wild card last year, but we're a better team than that. Obviously, they were one of the best teams in hockey in the back half of the year, and under really good coaching and took Winnipeg to the brink. But the Canucks just looked like last year's team tonight. Like it just looked the exact same.
Yeah, you set that up really well, Parker. And that's kind of what I was hinting at, right? With we won the game that we should have won, back-to-back, home opener, all the hoopla, and all-star or good goalie that was probably shouldn't have played. And then Edmonton. Let's give them props. They were the Stanley Cup finalists 2 years in a row. So technically, they're the best team in the West, like by far and away. And Parker, you nailed it. That's why tonight was so frustrating, because this is going to be one of the teams that we're likely going to be battling for a wild card spot, right? If we don't finish top 3, which we hope they do. But if not, then you're battling among 4 or 6 teams for 2 wild card spots. And St. Louis looked like a much better team. Snuggerud looks awesome. He's a rookie, right? He looked awesome. He's scoring his 2 goals. Our power play does not look good. We only got one chance, but and then we give up actually a power play goal for the first time this season. So you love some things. I thought the fourth line, Sherwood was great. Whole fourth line was really good actually. And Foote had to mix up the top 2 lines to just swap the centers and stuff. So we will see. We will see what happens. Just as the Canucks were 2-1 or 3-0, we'd be joking about planning the played route, but realistically we wouldn't be. But it's a little concerning already. It's a little concerning already because it's not like we've played a murderer's row, and we're going to preview the road trip. It's not brutal. It's not brutal. So they got to come back 3-2 at least, even this thing out for sure.
Yeah, and if they had won tonight, it would have been if they had outplayed St. Louis like St. Louis outplayed the Canucks tonight, we would have been like, okay, that's better, right? That's what we were sort of hoping for, right? 35 shots is what St. Louis ended up having. right? We would have looked at that and been like, okay, they had a solid game. They beat a team that they should be able to beat. But it wouldn't be, we wouldn't be all in on, hey, this is a brand new hockey team and they're going to be successful and yada yada. But and again, you can look at the standings and be like, you're 1-2 to start the season. Who cares? Right? It's 3 games. 3 games is not enough, especially from a points perspective, right? Having 6 points after 3 games versus 2 points. A team can start 0-3. It's not great, but it doesn't mean they're going to be a terrible hockey team all year, right? You look at some of the teams that maybe haven't started off too hot, and the Lightning are also 1-2. The Leafs are also 1-2. Right. That doesn't mean it's not, a perfect indicator of future success. But the problem is the hope for the change that we were hoping to see from particularly one guy and one coaching staff. And that's not what we saw tonight. And not what we've seen so far, I should say.
Yeah. And, Parker, I guess it'd be no surprise to you if I told you that the biggest talking point throughout my 24-hour stream was Elias Pettersson, right? And his salary and, revenge tour, time to get going, all those things. And they're all true. I want so badly to see him succeed. And today, he had his moments. He had a couple chances. I think he had a nice hip check on Shen, if I'm not mistaken, in the neutral zone. Yeah, that was kind of good, actually. Actually, the first time I said, whoa, he did gain 13 pounds of muscle. That was pretty good.
Yeah, but he also had the giveaway in the offensive zone that led to a goal. Just a bunch of misplays and just didn't look dangerous out there, right? There wasn't he for sure would get the puck and he'd be moving and he'd be creating chances, and that was good to see. But when Pettersson had the puck, you didn't get that same feeling.
Sure, almost had a hat trick. Do you remember when he actually? There's a giveaway. The one I remember is the giveaway in the St. Louis zone, and he had a quick wrister snapshot that went. Yeah. By the way, Binnington, it's funny. You know how much I want us to light him up all the time, especially him for whatever reason. Except when he's playing for Team Canada, but he's got a good glove. You got to give him that. And I'm not sure if that was a scout though, or if he was kind of flashing at them, but they kept shooting into his glove. And I get it. Usually if you're the other side, you're trying to get a rebound off, but then shooting it as pads or something, I don't know. Maybe I'm oversimplifying. Maybe it's a lot harder than I'm saying, but I just keep remembering just go.
Yeah. And he's really a goalie. That's the frustrating part, right? And you look at it, and if you're just, I haven't pulled up natural stat trick, and I will, because I'm actually quite interested for all 3 of those games. But it's not like they had 29 shots, which by their metrics last year is good, right? But it didn't feel like a ton of them were from super dangerous areas, right? There's a lot of point shots. I want to take a look at the heat map here. The Blues had a lot more grade A's, and that's really what it felt like. Maybe I'm phrasing it wrong. Maybe the Canucks didn't have a real lack of high danger chances, but it felt like they gave up a lot tonight. It felt like there was a lot of times, and same in the Edmonton game, where the opposition was just able to get to the middle of the ice and able to get to the front of the net and create chances. And that's it's concerning, because your goaltenders are gonna struggle to even put up a 900 save percentage if all those shots are coming from that spot of the ice.
Yeah, no, that's a really, really good point. And let me know when you pull up those stats. I'd love to hear. It's in the first period. I'm not sure if you noticed this when you did your catch up watching. The Canucks had maybe 2, 3, but definitely 2 prolonged instances where they had decent pressure on St. Louis. But then my son Sean texts me and he goes, "I don't like how the way the Canucks are losing all their 50-50 battles," and that's true, especially in their own end. And Lankinen, he wasn't amazing. He wasn't brutal. You can't blame him. But he didn't just. Maybe after 2 days of 2 games of excellent Demko, it was a lot different just to see Lankinen in the net. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think Lankinen was terrible. He's not Thatcher Demko, right? And that's, to me, if I look at this first week of the season and you told me pick a bright spot, it is Thatcher Demko. And with Kiefer Sherwood has 3 goals in 3 games, it was still Thatcher Demko. Because he was unbelievable against Edmonton. He was fantastic, and every single save he made, I was scared. It's like, please get up. Just keep getting up. Because if if he's going to be facing 37 shots a night, 37 shots against on Thursday's game, Saturday's game, and then 35 shots against tonight, right? Sure, 18 against Calgary. That was the one off there. That was just a low event game, but allowing 37 and 35 shots, it's not going to be very sustainable.
Yeah, and what's crazy? I know the theme is we're comparing to last year. Is what with the two bright spots last year was Lankinen and Sherwood, right, coming out of the gates. And this year is Demko and Sherwood. So we need more bright spots. That's my point, I guess. We need more bright spots.
Yeah. So looking at I've got sort of the analytics numbers for tonight.
Before you do that, speak of bright spots, just want to highlight Adam, who becomes a supporter himself, and then brings 5 other supporters along, and Rosario, Mike, Derek, Adequately Caffeinated, and Matter. So thank you, Adam, and welcome all new supporters.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah, so looking at tonight's game, high danger chances were 16-12 in all situations in favor of the Blues. In 5-on-5, 15-9. So that's, they were outplayed in that sense. Expected goals actually pretty even in both all situations and 5-on-5. But of course, I'm not even too concerned about the goals they gave up or they kind of played on the same level as St. Louis tonight. And I think genuinely, if I don't have the deserve to win-o-meter or whatever in front of me, it was probably 60-40, right? It's probably a game that you play that game, 50 times, the Canucks probably win 20 times. But the problem is it's the individuals that were impactful, right? That's the biggest concern to me, because I look at, Elias Pettersson obviously is the big one. And if you were looking at his on ice metrics from tonight, they weren't bad. They were pretty plain. They were, shot attempts were even, shots were even, scoring chances were mostly even, high danger chances were mostly even. Everything was in a vacuum pretty even. But you watch that game and you're yeah, that's just a player out there, right? Yeah. There wasn't anything being created. You compare that to a Connor Garland, right? Where again, his analytics numbers tonight when he was on the ice, they were in his favor, but not hugely. But he was more noticeable out there, as he always is. So that's, again, I'm not concerned about losing 2 of the first 3 games, but I'm concerned about who is showing up in those games, because if Kiefer Sherwood wasn't playing tonight, this game's not even close.
You're right. 4 shots, 5 hits. He was, he was very, very good. By the way, Russell says, Clay, how are you still awake? Didn't the Canucks put you to sleep? And Russell, you might have missed the intro. I basically said that, and Parker and I were joking about it even before the show. I had a good nap after my stream. I probably could have napped during the game. Gail drove to and from the game. I was just a zombie today, to be honest with you. And, so this is, aside from my stream and, of course, spending time with my lovely wife, this has been the highlight of the rest of my days, hanging out with Parker, interacting with someone, keeping me awake even. And I would just imagine how much more of a better mood I'd be and more awake I'd be if the Canucks had won, to be honest with you. But, yeah, thank you, Russell. Thanks for asking. Oh, yeah, you're right about Sherwood. He's so good. And, he's got the 2-syllable name, first and last name, so easy to cheer for, right?
Yep.
You probably heard it on the key for Sherwood.
It was
Connor
loud.
Garland. Yeah, it was nice. It was good. It was really good.
Yeah. So do we want to go sort of game by game? Or do we want to just sort of talk about some themes or some individual players, first impressions from some players? I don't know necessarily how we want to we want to run through this, because I don't think we need to relive the Flames game, for example.
Right. Yeah, I think let's finish off with this game, because we've already spent 7 minutes on it. It is good, 7-8 minutes. Let's finish off our thoughts. Any other lingering thoughts on this game? And then I think we can go general instead of breaking down Calgary, breaking down Edmonton, because this one's so fresh and it's actually a game day. And then, and we can talk about general trends and pull examples maybe from those 2 games. But I think that's good. And then by that time, it'll be halfway through the show, and then we can look ahead kind of thing.
Sounds good. Yeah. So for tonight's game, that's, I think I've sort of said most of my piece, right? Garland and Sherwood showed up, Ratu, playing with Sherwood.
Yeah.
That line was the line that showed up. The you were at the game today, so you didn't see the broadcast.
I was.
So it was the prime broadcast. so it's obviously all the sort of neutral observers. But like they could not stop raving about the Kiefer Sherwood line, and they could not stop trash talking Elias Pettersson.
Really?
Over and over. That giveaway, they brought it up probably 6 different times throughout the broadcast. Like, look, he's here. He lost the puck here again, just like before when they were hard on him, and I think rightly so. Right? Like I it was very clear that he wasn't having a good night. Like that was the big theme tonight. Braden Coots, I think it's going to be a 9-gamer. I think we were right on that that front. He's just not
the one thing we got right.
Yet. Yeah. And like again, just sort of looking at who played tonight, right? Like Lekaramaki just never really got many chances. Evander Kane has not looked fantastic to start his career here. But yeah, anything else stand out to you in this one?
Yeah, you know what stands out, Parker, is I'm just looking at the highlights real quick, or the visualizer, is you know how they made a big deal about the swarming defense, but then the kind of the activating the fourth man, the first D man offense, right? And it's high risk, high reward, and yeah, I guess what I'm getting at is 2 of the goals. Like I get it, the PD giveaway, we're talking about the first goal, right?
In the St. Louis zone. Yeah.
Right. And then so it wasn't like they scored right off the rush, but they had a wide shot and they got the rebound. But yeah, obviously they don't get in that zone without that turnover. But I'm thinking of the second goal where they went straight up the gut, right? Because Mancini pinched kind of, and then it led to kind of the scramble play that Shen scored. So that was straight up the gut, and definitely the fourth goal where Hughes was very aggressive, and then we had 4 guys down trying to swarm the net, and then it left for like a 2-on-1 against Hronik, and then Kane was trying his best to get back, but he fell and then fell into Lankin. That's not why they scored, but so I'd say 2 of the 4 goals, not including the empty netter, were because of that aggressiveness. Yet I think they're still figuring it out, I guess.
Well, they're also just not. They're just losing puck battles, right? Like the big thing, like that first goal. Again, it's a great play by Snuggerud, right? Like he's a really good player, but if you like, there's a point where he comes out, he just gets around Marcus Pettersson and gets sole position in front of the net, right? Like just has the front of the net to himself. Nice little play to corral the puck and take the shot, right? It's a good goal, but he should never be in that spot with that time. That Braden Shen goal, right? The second goal, this one was really frustrating to me because Mancini just doesn't know there's a guy behind him. Hughes does a good job to catch up and disrupt the guy, at least enough. But even then, like Shen is able to sort of peel off and get time and space to himself. Yep. And then his pass back, or not Shen, Cairo, I guess that is. Yep. But it goes, the pass to Shen was on Drew O'Connor's stick.
Yes.
Like that reminded me of like if you're watching like football and a throw goes and it goes right to the linebacker and he goes to pick it off and he just tips it right to the receiver.
Yeah, like, good point.
He had it. It was a quick clear and it's a 2-on-1 the other way. If O'Connor takes this, turns, fires to Sherwood, it's Sherwood and Coots the other way, 2-on-1. But he bobbles it and it goes right to Shen who fires it, and it's stuff like that where it's like you just have to clean that up. You can't afford, St. Louis is a team that capitalizes on mistakes, but you're gonna face an Edmonton. You're gonna do that against Colorado. You're gonna get punished over and over if you're losing those free wins.
Yeah, great point. And I'm not piling on O'Connor, but even on the power play goal, and I get it, you're outmanned, but it was 2-on-2 behind the goaltender. And then he was late to pick up Buchnevich, who snuck in, right? And then he in front of O'Connor, and then there's a bang play. It slid across the crease. Lankinen has no chance, and then Snuggerud gets a second. Speaking of hat tricks, I thought he was gonna get one for sure because that was so early. Yeah. That was so early in the game where I thought, he's gonna get it for sure. So that O'Connor Coots-Lekaramaki line, no more, please. If it means putting Kane back there, putting Baines back up on the second line, then do it, because Kutzlicker, Mackey, and O'Connor, they're getting hemmed in time after time after time. I don't know if it's they're small. I don't know if it's because they're inexperienced, or maybe a combination of both. But then do you want to break up Brains, Ratu, and Sherwood, because they were our best line by far and away, as you mentioned.
Yeah,
I don't know. We don't have enough good players right now.
No, and everyone's healthy.
That's a good point, except for Blue. Yeah, you're right.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was the frustrating part with this game is so many of these goals, really all of St. Louis's goals, developed quickly, right?
Yeah.
Like I think, hold on, let me verify this. 1, 2, 3, 4. All of St. Louis's goals on the visualizer, which only goes back like 10, 15 seconds, start in St. Louis's zone. So they are all mistakes made in the offensive zone, or to an extent, right? And then just a quick play down the ice, and somehow in these quick transitions, getting someone in a grade A scoring position right in front of the net by themselves, essentially. Like every single one of their goals was just someone allowing someone else to get to the middle of the net. And that's just something that just has to get cleaned up, because like, you look at, okay, Lankinen allowed 4 goals on whatever it was, 34 shots. It's not a great night statistically for him, but like those are goals that not a lot of guys are going to save a lot of the time.
Yeah. No, I thought, I can't actually blame him on any of the 4 goals. A couple of them were bang, bang. First goal, the one, Snuggerud's first, he just turned around and kind of whipped it in, right, from the slot.
Well, yeah, he sort of came out, he cut out in front, and then like corralled it with sort of a little toe drag. And I don't think anyone's really expecting him to even get that puck. But the fact is that he's just standing there with the 2 defensemen off to the side.
Yeah, the fourth goal to me, Parker, is the backbreaker, because you have Sherwood who scores, and then the crowd's back into it. He's pumped. Beautiful move. I was actually thinking, I wonder if every international team is going to watch that now as a scouting report on how to beat Jordan Binnington on a breakaway. And then the crowd's in it. He's pumped. And then just 90 seconds later, an aggressive play, and it goes the other way, and it's 4-2, and they don't look back. It's too bad, because we were feeling good in the arena for 90 seconds.
Well, yeah, that fourth goal where Hughes comes in off the wing, and it really has felt like and we felt it in the third period when the Canucks were down, taking a lot of the shots himself, instead of trying to find the option. Like skating in there. He's got Kane and Hronek also on the point, so I don't know if he's thinking, well, I'm covered, but Kane also comes down. And he takes a shot, and the rebound comes out, and he takes the long way around the net. And it's at that point it's 2-on-1, kind of 3-on-2. Like it's kind of a weird broken rush the other way, but they've got numbers. And then the third period, especially when the Canucks had the goalie pulled, it felt like he was just trying to throw it at the net. He was throwing it into skates. He was throwing it into shin pads. Like that's not what Quinn Hughes normally does. And that was, kind of jarring.
But you're right. A great point, because it was his shot, and we're not blaming him. It was his shot that got blocked, and Neighbors just golfs it in from his own blue line.
Well, I didn't like that shot anyways, right?
Yeah.
I genuinely don't think that shot was the play, because there's still 2.5 minutes left. You're down by 2, right? Like it's not, you need to score, but it's not like you're taking a buzzer beater from the blue line, right?
Yeah.
You have other options there. On that pass over. You can try to fire it across to Lekkerimaki, and he had made a couple of those passes on that shift already. But it's just a play that you can't make at that point. You can't just give up the puck.
Right. What's really interesting, Parker, is Kevin Woodley was one of my guests, and he's awesome, right? Because he has all that. He always talks about clear sight analytics, right? He's got all these stats, proprietary stats. But I think this one might even be common knowledge. But he was talking about how the way save percent. You know how we were talking about save percentages being down last week when we were doing our prediction show, and he was actually giving examples. He was talking about how much better the probability is when you go cross ice once, and how much better it is even when you go cross ice twice. And we always do that all the time. The other thing he was talking about was the high percentage when a blue liner shoots, not as clapper when no one's around, but when there's at least one or two kind of layers of screen, and how that's a very high percentage shot now. And we've seen Hughes be able to do that. So I'm speaking to your point is I like it much better when Hughes darts around a little bit, eludes guys, and then knows that he's got traffic, and then he does that wrister, right? That hard wrister through, not the 1T when he's not even waiting for guys to get set up. And I get it. You're right. Maybe he was kind of rushing it. He still had 3 minutes, but they were down by 2. So I kind of get his mentality, but still.
But like on that play, like I'm looking, and I'm not even looking at the video. I'm just sort of looking at the chart of where everyone is when he gets that puck. But like, I don't hate. I mean, he had space. Like, by the time he gets that puck, he's inside the blue line a bit, sort of on the half wall. But he's probably got 10 feet between him and neighbors, right? That's a lot of room for him to make a little fake and cut into the middle. He could do a fake and then tap it down to Hedel, who can drive the side of the net, because Hedel has a lot of space and can try to just huck something at Evander Kane and hope it bounces in, or fire it across to Lekaramaki, or go back to Hronek, because I guess Buchnevich was also coming down at that time already and giving space up there. Like, there's just so many better options there that normally he makes that right play. But he just, again, I didn't really feel like Quinn Hughes was himself tonight.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a really good point. Yeah, and one other defenseman I want to talk about is Mancini. It was his first game of the year. He comes in for Forbert, and therefore they swap everything out. DPD plays with Myers, and then Marcus Pettersson on the left plays with Mancini on the right. And I found Mancini, like I've always said, he's high risk, high reward. I didn't think he was great tonight. He's the only defenseman that wasn't actually officially credited with a giveaway, which is surprising, because I remember 2 or 3 times where he gave away the puck and he had to scramble like mad to get back into the play. I don't think there's any that hurt the Canucks, but I thought Mancini had quite an uneven performance. He wasn't the -3 that Hughes was, but did you notice that at all?
Yeah, analytically too, at 5-on-5, him and Marcus Pettersson were sort of a black hole out there, with a 23% expected goal percentage. It's not like they offensive zone, like they started half their shifts in the offensive zone, half in the defensive zone. So it wasn't like they were just getting, and that, not like they would be giving Mancini a ton of defensive zone starts anyways. But yeah, while he was on the ice, 8 shot attempts for, 17 against. Shots were actually 8-5 in St. Louis's favor. But yeah, he looked, I don't know, he didn't look great out there either. There were some mistakes being made.
Who were our best Corsi guys tonight?
From an expected goals percentage side of things, it's the 3, right? It's Baines, Ratu, Sherwood. Elias Pettersson's actually up there, and I'm wondering what that's from, because all of his other metrics were really flat. But this is just on ice, right? That's not necessarily what you have an impact on, but maybe there was like I don't know, maybe there's a something that should have just been a goal that someone didn't score on or something. I'm not sure, but or it could just be an anomaly because it's just a 1 on the expected goals for side. But from an actual Corsi percentage perspective, it's Baines, Ratu, Sherwood at about 67%. Kane, Garland, Hedel were around 58%. And then it gets, then Lekaramaki, Coots, and O'Connor were at about 11%.
Yeah, that's not a surprise.
While they were on the ice, 3 shot attempts for, 20 to 25 shot attempts against. So they got demolished at 5-on-5.
Oh my gosh. One bright spot. I'm not just looking for bright spots, but if we're gonna, I think PD went 3-15 against Edmonton in the faceoff zone tonight. Faceoff dot tonight he was 58%. I don't know what that works out to be, but at least that's good. It's a Ratu that only went 42%. So there's your 100% combined, but I didn't think it would be 58 PD and 42 Ratu.
That was concerning. That Edmonton game, when he couldn't win a faceoff, that was not. I was not feeling good about that. It's yeah. Again, there's got to be a little leash because it's been 3 games, but I need to see something different to have. The last 3 years we've had a reason like that we could at least wrap our heads around, right? It's like, okay, well, at least there could be this excuse, right?
Yes.
All the excuses are gone at this point.
Yeah.
So we need to see something different soon.
And you hinted at this really we Coots, 11 minutes. It's not 6 or 7 minutes, but it's not 14 or 15 either. So as we traverse on, and now that he's played 1/3 of his games, if we think he's only going to get 9 with not a lot of practice time and going on the road and not a lot of practice time. So how much? Yeah, but I think the writing's on the wall. At least where I'm leaning right now, I'm with you as to what you said. Our 9-game prediction might be the only one we get right in our contest.
Well, yeah, and I'm almost thinking, does he get 9 even at this point?
Yeah.
Right? Like I could very well see Linus Karlsson taking his spot in the next game, because they got absolutely hemmed in. They obviously he can't play with like Aramaki and O'Connor. I really didn't love O'Connor's game tonight. I think he had one or two good plays, but he was just fighting the puck and struggling. And I think we're at that point where he might not even get the 9 games, because it's not 9 games played, right? It's 9 on the roster. I assume.
Is it? Yeah, actually, I'm not sure, because the way I hear guys, I'm not sure. The way I hear people talking though, I think it's 9 played.
Okay, interesting.
Oh no, wait. But if you're on the roster, no, actually, I don't know.
Either way, I just could see. Yeah, I could see Karlsson taking a spot in the next game. Because I think they need to shake something up there.
And if our next game's not till Thursday, right? Back to back Thursday, Friday. Who knows? Maybe Bluger's back by then too.
Yeah, could be. And I think that would make their call even easier.
Good point. Yeah, bring in Bluger and Karlsson and sit Coots and one of Lekkerimäki. I don't know. You don't sit Lekkerimäki. Sit O'Connor. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, yeah, that $2.5 million contract for O'Connor.
I know.
For 2 years and a 12-team no trade. He's fast and big.
How did he get it? Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
Can't tell you that.
Okay, we won't go too doomsday. We're just trying to be honest, especially after we were quite optimistic in our predictions contest last week. By the way, did we end up getting a lot of people? Not to put you on the
think
spot,
we were around 60, 61. How we ended up with?
That's great. That's great. Awesome. Well, there's our half an hour on one game.
Well, kind of
fresh.
the last 3, right? Like we talking about like the themes and everything like that. That first game looked great.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and just a quick word about Dustin Wolf. Were you surprised when it was him?
Yeah, I was confused. I was very confused because like all the analytics point to like you can have the best goaltender in the world, and if he plays on back-to-back nights, he will be a below average starter. That's just
interesting.
That's just what all the numbers point to. I think there's exceptions, like if you're talking like playoffs, that's a different story. It's game 2 of the season. It's an 82 game grind, and you're saying, get back out there, and he just got shelled. Not that he didn't really. It's not like he took a lot of shots, but like he was just. You could just tell he had no gas in the third.
Yeah. Thank you, Gerald, for looking it up. It said it's playing 9 games as opposed to being on the roster. So that's fair.
Weird.
That's fair. Good. Thank you. Yeah. So and that's what I've heard people say is they're using the Shane Wright as the example where you could have him up with the team, but kind of not string him along is not the right way of putting it. We're not talking about like relationship or something. you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes. And Swerven Irvin, is it a monthly membership, mister, or just a declaration that he's been a member for 11 months? Thank you, Swerven Irvin. Got to see Irvin at the game tonight, which was cool.
Thank you.
On one of the occasions where I was awake. Okay. Do you want to preview the next few, or do you want to talk about anything else about the league or about the team right now? What do you want to do?
We can talk about the next couple. We can talk about a couple of league things if need be. But 2 days off, which is good. I assume they'll fly tomorrow and take the extra day in Dallas. Right. And I think, this is one of those things where I think getting a good road trip in early is good for the team to an extent, right? You don't want to start your season with 10 games on the road. But I think after losing a couple of games, getting the boys out for a week and just have them just be guys and hopefully get a good road trip in could be big as long as they do well. Like I think if they win 3 of the 5 on the road trip and get some good camaraderie, I think that can be big. But it's it starts off with a back-to-back. So Thursday against Dallas, Friday against Chicago, and then even a quick turnaround after that because they play Sunday morning against Washington. So they go. That's basically 3 games in 3.5 days. Like that's a pretty aggressive scheduling. There's 36 hours between those last 2 games or so.
Yeah. And then when you look at the opponents, I know we'll say our prediction. Well, we can predict the whole road trip, and then we have 3 games before our next show. It's not brutal. Like Dallas, obviously a powerhouse. Yeah, and Washington was good, a powerhouse last year, right? Those are 2 first place, or like Dallas came in second and Washington came first. But then Chicago and Pittsburgh, even though Pittsburgh had a good start, Chicago and Pittsburgh were bad last year, and Nashville is kind of exactly where St. Louis, where we expect them to be in that battling with us. So it's not brutal. We can conceivably go 2-1, 3-2 even, but yeah, we got to play those games, obviously.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's 2 contenders, and in Dallas and Washington, and it's 3 teams that should be bad, in my opinion, in Chicago, Pittsburgh, and Nashville. So you look at that, and if you look at this team as a contender, which in its current state isn't the way they played the last couple of games, but again, it's game 3, right? There's time to right the ship and new systems, yada yada. But I would look at a trip like this and say, well, you should win 3 of them, and you're playing 2 contenders, so you want to at least get a point or 2 from those games. As it stands right now, 3-2 trip, I would be like, okay, that's fine. Gets us to 500, fresh start, back at home. Yeah. If they do worse than 3-2, it's concerning. But yeah, like you just got to get your business done against Chicago, Pittsburgh, and Nashville, because those are teams that shouldn't be in this team's realm if this team's going to do anything.
Because that first back-to-back, because the trip starts with back-to-back, Parker, is it very? It's not oversimplistic to suggest that it goes Demko, Lankinen, then Demko, Lankinen, Demko. Like you could alternate these 5 games.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty simple. Definitely be Demko Thursday. Definitely be Lankinen Friday. And then, I mean, depends. It depends how. I think this is going to give us a bit of an inkling of how much workload Demko is going to get this year. Because for a normal starting goalie, it would probably be Demko, Lankinen, Demko, right? Because he would have the sort of 2 days off between the Thursday and the Sunday game. And then there's a long turnaround, but like it's a Sunday morning and then Tuesday night and then it's Thursday night, right? Most teams would start their starting goalie 4 of those 5 games. And there's a back-to-back right after that Lankinen will get one of those starts. I don't think that's what we'll see. I think we'll see Lankinen get 2 of them. And like you said, it'd probably be the Friday and the Tuesday.
Would you have time for this theory? Demko, Lankinen, Lankinen, so still 3-2. So then you go Demko at home, Montreal, Edmonton. Oh no, forget it. It's a back-to-back. What am I talking about? No. The other ways. There are other ways where you alternate all the way until the Montreal game. No, all the way back to the Oilers game. So then it's 4-3, right? Because I forgot it's back-to-back at home.
Yeah, and that also maybe gives me a bit of reason to give Demko an extra game in there, if you think he's ready, and that way it's sort of 5-2.
That's true.
But yeah, who knows? Who knows what they'll end up doing?
Yeah. Okay. We shall see. By the way, someone mentioned that in the province they mentioned it's opposite. They're getting a practice here, and then not this one, and fly out here. The province article
Wednesday night.
Or
Wednesday at some point.
Wednesday,
that makes sense. Yeah. Well, it's one of the. I guess with limited practice time, it makes sense, right? You want to get a practice in before the trip. I was sort of thinking from a camaraderie perspective, get them out there right away, but either way.
I don't want this to happen just so our channel grows, but I will donate 5 memberships every time on the channel until EP40 scores. Okay, well, either way, we are fine, Adam. Thank you. And then Go Canucks Go sends a membership, and it goes to Jaskrin. So thanks, Go Canucks Go, and welcome, Jaskrin. Thank you.
Well, hopefully Pettersson... So... Before our next show, there will be 3 games. Before the show after that, there will have been 7 games. So I'm really hoping it doesn't get to that point. Then we have bigger problems.
Yes. And Go Canucks Go gives another membership. And this one, sorry, Jaskrin got the second one. The first one went to Gerald, which is awesome. So thank you, Go Canucks Go.
Thank you.
Yes. And he just did one more. And this one, well, very generous. This one goes to Philly T. 3 new members, 3 new supporters. Thanks to Go Canucks Go. Anything surprise you? We already talked about McDavid's contract last show, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and how dumb it was. How much of a steal it is. Yeah. And then obviously Lane Hudson getting signed.
Yes.
Getting signed. Was that this morning?
Mm-hmm.
What a long day it's been. It feels like days ago.
Tell me about it.
8 years, 8.85, $71 million basically. It reminds me a lot of Hughes' current contract, right?
Yeah.
Very, very similar vibe.
Yeah.
Because Hughes got 6 by 7.85. This is 8 by 8.85, so an extra year, extra million, sort of adds up to about the same value.
Sure.
So yeah, I think that makes sense. Does take him to be a UFA, but obviously an 8-year deal, so he'll be 30.
Yeah. No, he's I've seen some projections, Parker, where they're saying he's gonna be like the 4th or 5th highest scoring defenseman, right? I see Makars, Hughes, Rowinski, and Hudson actually as the top 4 that I've seen out there a lot.
Yeah, he's also a wizard on the power play, right? He gets a ton of power play points.
Right.
You know, he's a good player, especially offensively.
Yeah. Be curious. Quick, let's do this. Power ranking. 7 Canadian franchises. Edmonton, we agree, is at the top, right? We can just start there. We can do this together.
Yep.
Right? Winnipeg
one.
number 2? Winnipeg number 2?
Or Edmonton number 2?
Or Toronto? Oh, there's any of those 3. I think you could argue 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
Okay. Then, man, if we agree that Calgary is the bottom tier, so then there's this. We got to figure out this middle tier of Montreal, Ottawa, and Vancouver.
I think it might. I think it might be Montreal, Vancouver, Ottawa right now. Montreal's got way better vibes than we do today.
Yeah. Yeah. Ottawa. I wonder if they overachieved last year. Well, they're 1 and 2, same as us. So it's not like they're. Well,
yeah, they were a 97-point team.
Yeah,
I forgot that they were actually decent last year.
Montreal's the one that snuck. Yeah, Montreal snuck in the playoffs. Ottawa made it because they were 3 seed, right, against Toronto's 2 seed in the first round. Yeah, I don't know. Just kind of curious because I do want Canadian teams to succeed, but not to the point where I'm cheering for one of them just because they're from Canada. But it's always fascinating. Like Montreal and Ottawa have been pretty bad for a long time. So.
Yeah.
And I just like Calgary to be bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Calgary and Edmonton can be bad. Edmonton's not, obviously. They will be at some point, and that will be a good day.
Yeah. Oh, I hate how we're tied with Calgary, 1 and 2. Okay. Whatever. It's early.
Yeah.
One more. Go Canucks Go goes to Skytrain Alfred. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. So let's... why don't we do this? Let's quickly do predictions on the road trip. We can do 10 minutes of people questions, and I think we're good for the night.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go 3-2 on the road trip. Again, it's I just looking at it's 5 games and knowing how this team goes, they're gonna win the 2 hard games and lose 2 of the easy ones and go 3-2, and it'll have the same result.
Yeah, I'll go 2-2-1. So still coming back with 5. Out of 10 points, and that means after 8 games there will be, well, what's the math? I guess 3-4-1. Yeah, so just under 500. Take out Montreal. Oh gosh. So after 10 games, it's Montreal and Edmonton. Oh man, I would love us to be 6-4 or 5-4-1. But imagine if we're 4-5-1 or 3-6-1. Not good.
Yeah, you just got to be in the mix. You got to just you just can't drop too far below 500. That's the scary thing, right? If you're 3-6-1, it starts to get, it's a long season left, but you're playing behind the 8 ball a little bit. It's not where you want to be.
Yeah. So I like your 3-2, but I'm going to go 2-2-1.
Now on the bright side, the Pacific Division has started off very slow. Like the Canucks are 2 points out of first, right? The Seattle Kraken. It's been what a sports week for Seattle.
Yeah, what the
Seahawks won. Mariners have been winning. Kraken are 2-0. Huskies have been winning. Seattle's flying high right now. But they're 2-0. Vegas is 1-0-2. Oilers are 1-0-1. Kings are 1-2-1. Ducks are 1-1. Sharks are 0-0-2. We're 1-2. Flames are 1-2. So there's one team with a winning record right now in the Pacific Division, and it is a team that I think we're all sort of assuming will not make the playoffs.
Sure hope not. Yeah. Yeah. After only 2 or 3 games, I was actually surprised that there was only 5 undefeated teams. Like I remember NHL sent out a graphic, like actually truly undefeated. It's just Carolina who are 2-0, like with no type of loss over to. Yeah, exactly. Carolina and Seattle 2-0. Everyone else has a loss either in the loss column or the OT loss column. Crazy.
Yep. There's some parity.
Yeah. Don't you find that surprising though? After a week,
It
it's only
is.
2 teams.
That is, yeah, because there's always a couple bad teams that'll have.
Dallas.
Be 3-0.
I forgot Dallas. Dallas is also
Right.
2-0.
They've only played 2 games, right? Yeah.
Yeah. You got it. And then, is there any team that hasn't won in regulation yet? Sorry,
Sabres haven't won. Islanders haven't won. Sharks
San
haven't
Jose.
won. Everyone else has won.
Okay, so 3 undefeated and 3 winless. Okay, I guess that makes sense. That
Adds
makes
up.
sense. Yeah, so everyone's either some combination of 1-2, 2-1, or 1-0-2, or whatever. Yeah. All right. Go to the people.
Let's go to the people. Any questions that you guys have for us, you can throw them in the chat. If we can really go anywhere, the vibes can go anywhere for the next 12 minutes or so. And we'll start off with, why is our best forward a $1.5 million fourth line winger? Clay, why do you think our best forward is a $1.5 million fourth line winger?
Because he's half Japanese. No, I'm just kidding. Because I'm half Japanese. Isn't that when Tortorella was saying that about David Booth, when David Booth is your best, or no, it was David Booth, because that was way earlier. But the whole point was, when blank is your best player, that's good for your best player, but it's not great for your team. Yeah, when Kiefer Sherwood is your best player, that's awesome for him, because it's contract season for him, right? He's playing for a brand new contract. But yeah, they gotta follow his lead. They gotta follow his lead for sure.
Yeah, he's the only one that's sort of showed up so far.
Yeah.
It really feels like, which is like you said, good for him, not good for the team.
Yeah. Peters, look out for me. Clay did not sacrifice his health for this. Well, it's not just me, a bunch of us, but yes, I just happened to be up, the dummy who stayed up for an entire 24 hours. They switched, you referenced this, they switched the top line. They actually swapped the 2 centers. So then PD got to play with Kane and Garland from the second period on, I believe, or at least the third period. And then Hedl played between Besser and DeBrusk. What is the best combination of a top line in your eyes, Parker?
On paper or realistically?
Both.
Well, on paper, it should be Pettersson, DeBrusk, and Besser.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't work. I don't know why it doesn't work. I don't know how it doesn't work, but it doesn't work. So now you have to start getting creative. And getting creative is difficult because, do you put Sherwood up there when really Sherwood is, kind of doing his own thing later, like bottom of the lineup? That's probably for the best. Do you put Garland back up there because Garland can drive some play? It really feels like everything that you're trying to do is to fix Pettersson, which is not what Pettersson should need. He should be driving his own line. He should be creating chances himself. It shouldn't be like, oh, he just can't play with Besser, or oh, he can't play with Kane, or oh, he can't play with this guy. He should be able to play with anybody and get them going.
Yeah.
He should be the guy that you put people with him to get them going, not the other way around.
Yeah. I don't even know how to answer this because there's just not a lot of options. I don't mind Sherwood giving a shot, but not long term, but for a few games, because the drop off to him isn't that big considering he's our leading point getter right now. I don't know. Can Garland work with PD just to kind of inspire him with his? it was interesting to see him with Garland and Kane, because Kane is, in person, Parker, when you see him, I didn't know he was as slow as he is. Like I thought he had at least some speed for his age and size, but no, he is. And he had another bad giveaway. I don't remember. He was on the boards and he tried to whip it. I don't know. Why does he do that? That's like JT Miller. Like JT Miller is actually a really good passer, but he gave it away a lot too.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I think Kane has had a couple good chances early on. Obviously hasn't scored, right? I think if he'd scored a goal at this point, I think he'd be a little bit of a better, like, people would be looking at him a little bit more positively at the moment, which obviously has the capability of, but it's looked, he has looked slow, especially when he's playing with Hedl, right? Because Heedle's so fast, and it looks like Kane is in the mud.
Yep. So, Jasker, we answered your question by default.
Yeah.
A lot of people talk about Sherwood's next contract, Parker. Sherwood contract prediction. Every goal Sherwood scores means more money Vancouver can't afford to. I know, remember Dollywall in the summer says, he might get $3.5 to $4 million, or that seems like a lot.
Does it? If he scores, if he scores 20 goals again, 25 goals,
right? 19
has 400
hits,
and has 50 points.
With a rising cap, that's true.
That's going to be a $4 million player.
You're right.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Wow. Okay, so early prediction from Parker. Contract prediction, $4 million.
Yep.
For Kiefer Sherwood. Yep. That's fair. Are you a panicker?
More just frustrated than panicking. You know, it's just I was just if they had started the season 0-3, but like Pettersson had looked really good, Hughes had looked really good, Kane had looked all right, but like we just had some bad bounces go, or you know, lost a game in overtime or whatever. It's a different story, and you know, we've said this last couple of years where we're past the point of process over results, right? That's not where we're at anymore, right? Results are king at this point with a team that needs to make the playoffs and needs every point they can get to get there. But when you're not getting the results and the process looks the same, right? When we were sort of sold on change, right? We're sold on, hey, Pettersson's put on this muscle. He's did everything he needed to do over the summer. He looks good under Adam Foote, yada yada. And then that hasn't changed. It's going to be this more like high flying, you know, offensive team under Adam Foote. And then they, you know, get 15 shots against the Edmonton Oilers, right? I'm waiting. I'm just desperate to see something different, and we haven't seen that yet. I'm curious to see what happens this road trip. Because coming into the season, I didn't really think 3 games in I'd have very strong opinions, because normally I don't. But the fact that things don't look any different yet, that's where, you know, it's like, okay, well, you know, this is what we practiced for. Like, this was what we were sold on, and it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. Jaskrin, a good question about Demko, but to reference our show from last week, we both predicted he's going to appear in between 48 and 49 games. I think that was both of our predictions. And if you consider almost all those as starts, then we're looking at something like a 45 or 46 starts for him, 35, 36 starts for Lankinen. That's kind of what we both were talking about. And I don't think you can afford to not play him because of his health, because of how good he's looked so far. But as Parker said, anytime he sprawls out, you're just watching the TV with kind of like this to make sure that he's getting up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, he's played in 2 games. He has a 944, right?
Wow.
He's not going to maintain that, but that is, you know, he's already at 4.3 goals saved above expected, which is pretty good, right? Like, he's already been worth 4 goals in his 2 games he's played. But it's, you know, the health is the big concern. But yeah, this team, as we saw last year, and as we've seen so far this year, you know, if he only plays in 35, if he only starts 41 games and Lankinen starts the other 41, that might be the difference between this team being a playoff team and not. And so that's something that the staff has to balance is is he actually fully healthy? And if he is fully healthy, then you just have to say, well, we're just going to play you as a full-time goaltender. Because that's what a starting goaltender should be, especially one that just got extended for $8.5 million.
Yep, great point. James, I saw you and your family on the screen today a couple times because you're with Spencer. So nice to see you. Having Coots and Kane on the ice for the power play with 5 minutes left in a 2-goal game was indefensible. Yeah, well, you got to run 2 units, I guess. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. They did not look good and did not look like they were going to tie or at least bring up the deficit. Here's a great point, too. Hoglander's not in this lineup, and I think we're already seeing the effects of it, Parker.
Yeah, but
well, at least death-wise.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, right? And the question being is Pettersson missing Hoglander on that front? And again, like I said before, he shouldn't be. He should produce regardless. I think he's he had a bit of an off year last year. If he gets back to being the player we know he can be, he's going to be a real asset to this team. And you know what it does? It pushes Evander Kane down the lineup. It pushes Drew O'Connor down the lineup. It probably pushes Baines out of the lineup. Nothing against Baines. He played fine tonight. Had a bit of an iffy game against Edmonton, but that's just good for the team, right?
Yep. You're right.
But you're gonna have injuries throughout the year.
Sorry.
Every team does.
Yes.
You gotta play through it. If you're one injury, if you have 2 guys out, and it's your 4th line center and a winger who might be on your 2nd or 3rd line, and that's it, you're doing better than a lot of teams are health wise.
Yeah. You can always play guys on their off wing, but that doesn't mean they're good at that. So I don't see this happening. Gerald's asking, do I see EP40 with Sherwood and Garland? Traditionally, those are 2 right wingers, and I don't know. Like, sure, those 2 guys are buzzsaws, but I think you need those guys on separate lines. I don't see this one happening.
I think Garland's played a little bit of left, but I don't.
Okay.
It's a hard transition. Because in reality, it's like it's the same position, just on the other side, right? So everything should work the same, but you're just seeing different angles, right? When you're coming down the wing on one side compared to the other, just everything you're used to is now backwards. And when you go try to pick up a puck off the wall, now you're picking it up on your backhand instead of your forehand. In your own zone, that can be nice because it's the other way around. But in the offensive zone, it's just different, and it takes getting used to.
Yeah. Hey, Irvin, we did talk about Mancini. At least what I said did not seem physical enough to be effective. Yeah, actually, I noticed his good skating, but that oftentimes, and I'm not being sarcastic, is because he was catching up to the play after a turnover. So I wasn't impressed with his first game, but he's young, and I want him to succeed, obviously.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. No, Sherwood's a right winger because he's a righty, right? Yeah. No. How did he score on his forehand?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's right wing.
Yeah. I was overthinking myself. Will we see Kane on the top line in the next 5 games?
No. Don't think so. They might try it for a shift or 2. I just don't see it happening. I think he's got to do something first.
So Parker, traditionally hockey, do you label the lines by the center? So technically, was the top line for the third period Petey, Kane, and Garland, or was it Hedl, Besser, and DeBrusque? Or does it not really matter? Like,
I think it's whichever one you're given the most ice time at 5-on-5.
Right, not the center. Okay,
is the actual answer, but no, it's Pettersson got demoted to the second line, not the other way around.
Okay, fair enough. Matt Go says thoughts on Philly under Tocchet. What are they, like 1 and 2 as well?
Yeah, with no shots on goal. I think. I think they are literally in the. I think they're feeling Rick Tocchet. They scored 5 today.
Okay.
On 22 shots.
What?
So does that sound familiar? They lost 4-3 to Carolina, and they had 23 shots to Carolina's 39. And they lost 2 to the Panthers on opening night with 20 shots. So yeah, that's Rick Tocchet hockey. They are averaging like 21, 22 shots a game, including a game that went to overtime.
Right. Awesome. Hey, looking ahead to our future shows, there's no home game for the Canucks on a Monday night until December the 8th. So projecting a little bit, we might be clear for the next few weeks, which is good.
Sounds good. Yeah, we should be here. I haven't checked my calendar. We should be good to go for next Monday night. Checking. Calendar's clear. Next Monday night, the 20th, will be our next show. We'll have 3 games to review. Stars, Hawks, Capitals. Canucks will have done something in those games. And that's as much as I can predict. Thank you all for your questions. Thank you for joining. If you missed any part of the show, you can rewind back to the beginning here on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. It'll be up in a handful of minutes. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit the notification bell. Clay, anything else you want to touch on?
Yeah, thank you, Parker. You kept the show moving along. I actually did not yawn once. I didn't even have to stifle a yawn. I feel good. Looking underneath my desk, I got about an hour of cleanup to do. Everything that happened during the 24-hour lifestyle, I was just shoved under my desk. So not a pretty sight, but also not pretty was the Canucks' performance at Rogers Arena. Horrible segue, I know, but it's early, but we're not excusing. We're just being realistic. But yeah, but by next week, we're not saying it's early anymore. We're saying we're 6 games in. We're almost 10% into the season already. So let's see what happens on these 3 games. But yeah, never a dull moment with this team for sure.
For sure, except if you're watching that game. All right.
And no show. I'd be crazy. A no show for me tonight. I'm cleaning up and going to bed. So, but
that would be crazy. All right, folks, get some sleep. 2 days off. Mariners don't play tomorrow either. So nice little reset day tomorrow.
Love it.
Have a good night, everyone. We will see you next time.